Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the brand new Cyotoxin record entitled Nuklearth. Wow. We have a good tech death release on our hands, and that is something that you can't say much anymore. This band plays self-proclaimed Chernobyl Metal. And any press images of this band, album covers, song titles, topic matters would not persuade me to disagree with that. Tech Death honestly has had a decent but not too stellar year. Besides that symbolic record emergence, there hasn't really been a record release that has wowed me, really swept me off my feet for one reason or another. But everything about this record is drawing me to it. They embody the themes of radiation and nuclear fallout with a very freakish, explosive sound, pun both unintended and intended, if that's not a contradiction it is. Who's full of oxymorons? This bitch. Think something similar to Obscura, but not nearly as melodic, with the plain tendencies of the band Nile, especially in the progressive and technical elements. Combine that with the brutal variety of vocalizations and the very tin-like snare sound of Abominable Putridity, and sounds kind of like them. They managed to sound intensely and extensively impressive without ever coming off like a wankfest of technicality. They're never overly annoying with the progressions that they do put into their sound. And if it's something that you like, they also really have the angular, sci-fi guitar freakouts that is very reminiscent of Alien Core bands. Rings of Saturn comes to mind. Basically, Cytotoxin as a band, and on this record in particular, do have a very unique theme they are playing with. And while they are not pushing boundaries by any stretch of the imagination, and their sound isn't doing anything that Tech Death hasn't done and ventured to many times before, they really are bearing the torch for some kick-ass Tech Death that feels like it is in its own lane, that it knows its confinements, and isn't too pressed with making an entire statement on what Tech Death is supposed to be, and being overly long-winded, and being really overzealous and pushing links out to 5, 6, 7 minutes, or having these songs that just reach out into oblivion. They understand their lane. Their record is a very nice, snug length that does not become overly cumbersome. Fairly seamlessly do they flow from one time signature to another, from a different vocal effect to a blast beat to a staccato riff. They have a lot going on. Even so, one thing I was consistently disappointed with on this record is the lack of exploration or diversity when it comes to the vocals. Practically, this entire 44-minute record just finds them sticking in the lane of very low, deep, kind of one-note death growls. Now, don't get me wrong, they are performed very well. They aren't weak, but they just become like, compared to just how over-the-top and how in-your-face and blunt and experimental in the technical sense this entire record is. It's veiled and draped in all of these odd ideas, but the vocals just are so one-dimensional. Luckily for them, I don't think it harms the sound too terribly much. I think the growls do fit like butter on bread. But even with some other vocals layered on top to make it sound a bit grosser, a bit nastier, such as the track Coast of Lies or In Breath, I really would have loved to see them push their sound into an even more dynamic direction by allowing the vocals to accompany it a bit stronger. They just feel like a bludgeoning force as you progress through the record, which, if that was what they were going for, good job. Combine that with the typical tech death tropes that are utilized and tweaked ever so slightly and kind of recycled throughout this record, and you start to get a little bit of fatigue. The guitar freakout on the track Coast of Lies is practically identical to the track Lupus Aurora, so sometimes when vocals aren't shifting and neither is the instrumentation, it can leave me scratching my head. The most standout flair on this thing is when melody appears and rears its ugly head. And the production is just as crisp as, say, an Archspire record, and the riffs are just as precise and deadly. So the scoring might confuse some people, because I am going to be rating this record fairly high. These are all nitpicks. As a whole, this is an exciting, flavorful tech death record, which is something you just cannot say much for in the genre this year. So to hear a record that sounds this good in 2020, when there hasn't really been that much to pick from for this specific genre, it has me super excited to keep checking up on this band and seeing what they're going to do in the future. And this is just yet another reason to continue to be excited about the output coming out of the Unique Leader Records camp, and it just really excites me for the future, both the label and the band. I'm going to be giving this album a 7.5 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Cyotoxin record, Nuklearth? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.